A black woman get up there and say, we black women are the greatest people who've ever lived. We are better than every single one of you. All of you should die, and only we should be alive because our lives matter more than yours. Yes, amen. All the white people in the crowd. My goddess, my queen. A few days ago, there was some controversy in the left-wing fever swamps of the internet.
All right, buckle up, buttercups, because today we're diving headfirst into the internet's favorite pastime, outrage. Specifically, the kind of outrage that pops off when someone dares to criticize a black woman, or when a black woman dares to exist too loudly. We've got a clip that perfectly encapsulates this whole manufactured drama, featuring a certain former SNL cast member and a whole lot of peer clutching that people are doing at this point in time listening to these videos. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's play and see what fresh takes the internet has for us today.
When former SNL host Bowen Yang, he's the gay Asian one who I guess left the show, and he made very, very mildly critical comments about Jasmine Crockett on a podcast. Very mild. Basically nothing. I think he said, and along with his co-host or whoever's on the podcast with him, said that it would be a waste of money to donate to Jasmine Crockett's campaign. That was it. And there was backlash, and they were called racist for the comment somehow. And they both folded, obviously, like right away. They just caved and apologized right away. Within about 12 seconds, they collapsed on the floor begging for forgiveness. But it's not enough because it never is, of course. And now the race hustlers on TikTok are taking turns beating their new punching bags. And I thought that this response was especially funny. Watch this.
It's always a twink with a gaping rosebud and a microphone that has so much to say. But since we are being funny, since the Boys with Podcast decided to turn a black woman's Senate run into a punchline, let me return the favor. Because it's actually insane. And I'm not talking about quirky insane, not internet cute insane, but structurally violent insane. That Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang thought that it was appropriate to sit on a microphone and tell black people, or people in general, not to financially support a black woman who is running for office. Not critique her platform, not challenge her record, not debate her policies, just don't give her money. That's not comedy. That's not analysis. That is material attempting to start a black woman's campaign. And then y'all wrap it up in this tired, cowardly ass phrase saying that she's too well defined. Well, baby, she's not too well defined. What she is too unignorable, too competent, and too black in public. She's too woman while being ambitious, too clear about power and the clarity that scares people who benefit from living in a fog. Because somehow defined only becomes a problem when the candidate is a black woman or a black person in general. White men can be defined as hell, angry, loud, corrupt, incoherent, indicted, and still get called serious contenders. They can lose 5 elections and be called building a movement. They can be mediocre forever and still get donors and headlines and grace. But a black woman has to be flawless and frictionless and humble and exceptional and non-threatening and brilliant and warm and soft and strategic and silent, and she's still not going to be viable.
Wow. Okay, so let's unpack that, because what she's articulating is a frustration many black women feel. And frankly, it's rooted in a very real, documented history of systematic inequality. When this host, or others like him, dismiss valid critiques as race hustling or punching bags, they're not just ignoring, they're actively erasing the very real systematic barriers and microaggressions that are still very, very much alive and very well, especially in the public life. It's still there. It's a convenient way to avoid confronting uncomfortable truths about power dynamics. Think about it. When a black woman runs for office, she's not just running against her opponent. She's often battling centuries of stereotypes, implicit bias, and a media landscape that scrutinize her appearance, her tone, her family, her very existence in ways that white male candidates rarely, if ever, experience. To suggest that criticizing her campaign is just comedy or analysis without acknowledging that deeply uneven playing field is disingenuous at best and actively harmful at worst. It's like criticizing someone for struggling in a race when you've tied their shoelaces together. And this idea that black women are too well defined when they speak with clarity and ambition, that's a classic gaslight. It's not about being too much. It's about challenging the comfort zone of those who benefit from the status quo. When you're used to being the default, any deviation from that norm feels like a problem. It's the quiet storm, and you think it's going to go away, but it doesn't. So just calm down and just sit through it. Her point about needing to be flawless and frictionless and humble and exceptional, while white men can be angry, loud, corrupt, incoherent, and undecisive, and still be serious contenders, it's crazy talk. But she's right. It's reality in so many ways, and a stark contrast in how grace and forgiveness are extended. This isn't a feeble from the left-wing fever swamps. It's a reflection of who gets the benefit of the doubt and who gets grilled in our society. It's not about worshiping anybody. It's about demanding equality and equal rights and treatment and respect. A level playing field instead of a rigged game.
Yes, how dare you? How dare you say that about a black woman? How dare you fail to fall down and worship at the feet of a black woman? How dare you? We've talked about this before. This is the great fable of the modern left. I mean, they have a lot of fables. It's all fables all the way down. This is perhaps the greatest and the most deranged. It's the fable we hear over and over and over again, where black women are somehow criticized and scrutinized more than any other group. They're held to this impossibly high standard, and nothing they do is good enough, even though they're all so smart and beautiful and so wonderful in every imaginable way. This is what we're told. Black women are held to the highest standard, and a standard which they consistently exceed. They're held to this, the limbo bar is high. Well, I guess in this case, lower, whatever. Forget about limbo. The bar is higher for them than it is for anyone else, and they consistently get over the bar, and it's not good enough. This is what we hear. This is the great left-wing fable. And you hear that, and it's like, what? What world are you living in? What are you talking about? This constant drumbeat of how black women are treated in society. No one is criticized this way. First of all, black women are never criticized. Black women are basically never criticized. So not only are they not criticized the most, they're not criticized at all, ever. Doesn't mean that there aren't criticisms one could make. It just means that they're never criticized. Black women are basically never criticized as a group, right? Like, nobody ever singles out black women as a group and condemns or even just criticizes them. And that's not, white men are criticized, obviously, as a group all the time. White women are criticized as a group. Even black men are sometimes called out. They're at least called out by black women sometimes for not being good allies or whatever the hell phrase they would use. But black women are just never called out. When have you ever heard that? So for all these people saying, oh, everyone treats black women, really? Who? Can you give me an example? I never hear it. And again, it's not like there's nothing to criticize here, okay? It's not like you can't find fodder for criticism. It's just that they never are. And even individually, black women are basically the only group on the planet where you can't criticize any single one of them individually in any context for any reason without being called a bigot. That doesn't apply to anyone else. Now, sure, if you criticize a black man, depending on who you are, you might get called a racist. That can happen. But it's still possible to criticize a black man without being charged with racism, theoretically. But a black woman, I mean, this is what we've seen. Like, there's so many examples of this. So many examples of controversies because public figures criticized in very mild terms, a woman who happened to be black. And then they have to apologize for it. Because any criticism of any black woman ever, for any reason, is racist and sexist. Even coming from someone who's not white, doesn't matter. So black women end up with this like halo around them that really no one else has. I mean, we've talked about, now I'm starting to rethink, I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis because I'm starting to rethink, we've talked many times about the victim hierarchy. And I've said that, and it changes. I mean, it does change. It's very dynamic. So the victim hierarchy on the left changes. And you can't expect that the victim hierarchy today will not be what it is 10 years from now, and it's not what it was 10 years ago. But currently, when I've gone through this and I've given my victim hierarchy 101 lessons, and maybe we'll have to do another one, but I've said that it's like when you go through the rankings to get to the uber victim who has the most status and is the most unimpeachable and cannot ever be criticized, I've always thought it's like black women are almost at the top, but then above them is LGBT, and then above them is trans. Above LGB is the T. And that's the way that it's worked. And I think that that there's a reorganizing happening, because I actually think that maybe it's black women who are at the very tippy top of the whole thing. So, and you look at how like Beyonce is treated, or Michelle Obama, celebrated as these utterly untouchable, perfect goddesses. People talk about Michelle Obama like if she ran for president, she would win. Why? What is impressive about her? There's nothing impressive about this woman at all. The way people have always talked about Beyonce. So one of the great artists of all, oh my gosh, Beyonce. Who has, and you watch and you're like, yeah, she's dancing. And it's like, everyone does that. They can pull up any random pop star and they can do everything this person does. There's nothing impressive here at all, at all. And we talked yesterday about Amanda Gorman. Flat out embarrassingly bad poet. Her poetry isn't good enough to win a middle school creative writing contest, and yet she is celebrated as the greatest poet of our time simply because she's a black woman. No other reason. That is the only reason.
Okay, hold on a moment. Black women are never criticized? Are we living on the same planet? In the same dimension? Seriously? The mental gymnastics required to make this claim would win an Olympic gold medal for proportion. Black women face criticism from every conceivable angle, from within their own communities, from mainstream media, from right-wing pundits, from random Twitter trolls, and of monogamy through all the people out there. The idea that this exists is some kind of criticism-free bubble is not just false, it's absurdly detached from reality, and it ignores mountains of evidence. It's a claim so baseless, it almost feels like it's satire. And then we get to the celebrated for mediocrity line, specifically with Amanda Gorman. Look, art is subjective, right? You might not personally connect with her poetry, and that's fine. But to flat out declare her embarrassingly bad and imply her success is only because she's a black woman? That's not a critique of her work. It's a deeply cynical dismissal of her talent, her craft, and profound cultural significance she clearly holds for millions of people. It's a convenient way to invalidate her achievements without actually engaging with them. It's like saying a pop star is only famous because they're conventionally attractive, completely ignoring the years of hustle, the production, the songwriting, the stage presence they have to build. It's reductive, and it conveniently ignores the possibility that maybe, just maybe, people genuinely connect with her message because her electrifying performance style, her youth, her grace, her ability to articulate complex feelings in a moment of national reckoning, those are not mediocre traits. Those are a talent.
And no one has it quite that good, where you could be so incredibly mediocre and yet be hailed as the greatest. Whatever your pursuit is, you could be just not even you could be below mediocre and yet be seen as one of the greatest ever to do that particular thing. And that is a benefit, a privilege that is almost exclusive to Black women. We saw this again over the weekend. A Black actress won an award at the Golden Globes. And I don't even know who this is. Who is this? Tiana something? She's definitely not the first Black woman to win a Golden Globe at all, not even close. But watch her acceptance speech. Listen.
To my brown sisters and little brown girls watching tonight, our softness is not a liability. Our depth is not too much. Our light does not need permission to shine. We belong in every room we walk into. Our voices matter and our dreams deserve space. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Our softness. Yeah, you heard that from the other clip too. And this is another thing that comes up a lot in the Black woman fable is our softness. We're so meek and mild. And you hear that and you think, really? That's not the first word that comes to mind. I don't, really? Black women are renowned for being slow to give their opinions in situations. And, sure. Okay. So she's acting like she's the first Black woman to ever win an award, treating this like some kind of glass ceiling shattering moment, because this is what happens anytime a Black woman achieves anything. It's treated like it's some kind of historic thing. And this is a group, again, it's not entirely unique among other victim groups on the left. There's a measure of this for every victim group, but I think it's the most with the Black female victim group. In particular, where pure, unadulterated narcissism is applauded. Like she actually says, we belong in every room we walk into. What? No, you don't. There are definitely rooms where you might not belong, okay? If you walk into my living room unannounced, you don't even knock on the door, you just walk in, you don't belong there. Oh, is it because I'm a Black woman? No, it's because you don't live here. I belong in any room I walk into. Think about how, I hate always doing if the situation's a reverse thing, but you can't help it. Think about how this would sound if a white guy said this about white men. Think about how it would sound if a white man got up there. And it wouldn't be any more ridiculous. Like if a white man got up there and treated it like a glass ceiling breaking moment, of course that's absurd because like a lot of white men have won these awards, but a lot of Black women have too. So it's not any more ridiculous if Timothy Chalamet had won and got up there and said to my white brothers, and he had he's like, hands are shaking. He has a message to white people that he's written ahead of time, and he's reading it to my white brothers out there. Just know we belong in every room we walk into. That would be seen as the most racist thing ever uttered in human history. That would go down alongside like the militaristic speeches given by Adolf Hitler. They would put it in that category. If a white man got up there and said, every white man belongs in every room he walks into, they would stone him to death at the Golden Globes. They would descend upon him and they would rip poor Timothy Chalamet literally to shreds, limb from limb. His bloody, dismembered corpse would be left on the stage and they would dance around it like wild Indians celebrating. That's what would happen.
What the hell are you talking about? Stop right there. Did we just jump into an alternative universe where Timothée Chalamet is being ritually dismembered for saying white men belong in every room? Because if that is the case, that's quite a jump. That's quite a leap, man. Let's bring it back to Earth for a second, shall we? The idea that a white man making a similar statement would be met with literal stunning and dismemberment is not just a ridiculous saying. It's a fantastical distortion of reality that completely ignores the historical and systematic content. It's a fear-like, foolish bullshit that is constantly being thrown out, and it's not true. When a black woman stands on stage and says, "We belong in every room," it's often a statement of reclamation or affirmation, spoken from a place of historic exclusion and marginalization. It's a gentle yet firm pushback against generations of being told they don't belong. That they need to be smaller, quieter, less ambitious, less visible. Black women and black men have heard that their whole lives. It's not an exertion of superiority or a demand for worship. It's a demand for equality and visibility, a fundamental right to occupy space. Now, if a white man were to say white men belong in every room, the reaction would be a little stunning. It would be, at worst, an eye roll because, well, white men have historically been in every room. They've been the default, the standard, the ones whose presence is assumed, not questioned. It's a statement that lacks any historical and social weight of overcoming marginalization. It's like a fish saying, "I belong in water." No shit. No one's going to cheer. No one's going to wonder why you just said that. It's an empty statement, completely devoid of any genuine struggle or recognition. You need to understand that it's a different world. 100 years ago, we weren't where we are now. We are very lucky as a country to be where we are now.
And yet a black woman gets up there and says that, and everybody applauds. Says the most insanely narcissistic nonsense you've ever heard in your life, and everyone goes, wow. Yeah. A black woman get up there and say, "We black women are the greatest people who've ever lived. We are superior in every way to anyone who has ever lived. We are better than every single one of you. All of you should die."
And that, my friends, is a wrap on today's masterclass in missing the point completely. It's wild how quickly some folks can twist a call for equality into a declaration of war, isn't it? The next time you hear someone complaining about reverse racism or victim hierarchies, remember this conversation. Context, people, context. It changes everything. Tell me, if you enjoyed diving into the glorious absurdity with me, hit that like button. Subscribe for more truth bombs, and let me know in the comments what's the most outrageous double standard argument you've heard recently. Until next time, stay sharp, stay critical, and keep fighting the good fight.